Why are so many bees outside of this box? And where did all this pasta come from? What can I do with these sprouting potatoes? And also, what can I do with all this basil? Today, on this episode of What the Homestead. So I'm really trying to get good at figuring out what I can plant next after a plant loses its season. Sort of right now I have okra here, but it's summer and okra will soon die, so I have to put something else there. So I do have it all planned out. But one of the things I wanted to try as we go into fall is planting potatoes, which I did in the spring. So I want to try to have a fall harvest as well. So I had some potatoes that were starting to sprout, and potatoes, have to kind of get the organic ones. The ones in the store don't usually do this because they spray stuff on them that makes them not sprout. But once they sprout, you're really not supposed to eat them. So what you can do is take them like this. I just chopped them up into like two to three pieces, and I let these pieces sit on the side to dry for a couple of days so they don't rot when you put them in the dirt. And then I just take them outside. Now I put my potatoes in boxes so they kind of stay inside the box, or else I've heard potatoes kind of grow everywhere. So I found this trick last year and it kind of worked for me. So I started doing it. This is actually a whole potato. He's a small guy, so I can put a whole one in there. And I'm just going to put them in some dirt, and it's kind of just loose. I'm going to water it, and then they start growing really quickly. And once they start growing, I find that the roots grow up as opposed to growing down. So as they grow up, I actually throw a little bit more dirt on top of them. So I'm going to throw some dirt on these. I'm just going to branch it away a little bit so some of the leaves are showing, and then I'm going to let it grow some more, and then throw some more dirt on it, and just kind of keep going till my box is full. Meanwhile, my basil is out of control. This basil bush or plant or whatever, basil tree, I've been cutting this and I've been giving it away, and Kim's been giving it away. She'll call her office and she'll say, "Who wants some basil?" And I'll bring it in. And people are making pesto, but my wife doesn't really like pesto. So I was like, what am I going to do with it? So I took it inside and I cut off the stem, so I just have the leaves. And I was like, I just want to dry some of it, but how much dry basil? If you don't like pesto and you don't, how much dry basil can you have, right? So I'm like, I've got to be able to save this so I can use it in the winter, or Kim can use it when she cooks. So I put it in a bag, a Ziploc bag, and then I just shoved all the leaves in there, and I grabbed the olive oil, and I poured a little bit of olive oil in the bag, and then I just smushed it around a little bit with my hands so all the leaves kind of get covered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the air out of this bag. I'm just going to flatten it. I'm going to get all the air out of it. Actually, I'm not even just going to flatten it. I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to roll it up. Okay, I really don't want any air in there. I guess I could use like what's the thing with the pressure, the air, sucks out the air, sucks out the air thing. But I just figured this Ziploc bag, if I tighten it, I push all the air out and I just zip it like that, it's going to be pretty tight. So I'm just going to do it like that. Now, the idea is if I put this in the freezer, when Kim wants to use it, she can just break off a piece because it's frozen, throw it into the dish she's cooking, and then throw the bag back in the freezer. So that's going in the freezer, and I'm going to shut the door, forget it, seal it, zip it, forget it. Meanwhile, it was summer, it was August, and my bees were so hot they just decided they were all going to come outside. And I'd had to put a reducer on it because I had some robbers, which are bees from other hives, coming to try to steal the honey. So I was like, I had to put the reducer on it, but I didn't really want to do that because it makes it even hotter inside. So I geared up, got on I really just wear gloves and a hat, which is bad because I have been stung in the leg so many times. I found pine straw in my backyard, works really good for the smoker. Once it gets cooking there, you just give the bees a couple of squirts of that, and that works really, really well. I opened this thing up. Now, I had put an attic on top, but I decided I needed to do more because obviously, look how many bees are outside. This is crazy. So I decided I'm going to put on a super on top, which is another box with the bees make honey in. Now, I didn't really expect them to be making honey because it's late in the season for that, but I just wanted to give them the space so it would be a little cooler in there. So I took the attic off. Now, I did put on a queen reducer so that if they did make honey or anything, the queen wouldn't go up there and lay eggs. But I will not use this in the future because I found that some of the bees were getting stuck in it, and when I took it off later, some of them were dead, and I didn't like that. So I probably won't use that queen reducer anymore. But here I put the super on top. I'm going to put the attic back on top, and I'm actually going to put some screen on front where the reducer is so that more air can get in. And let's see if, look at all these bees on the attic. Like, gosh. Well, so there they are. There's the reducer that was only a little hole. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put add some wire mesh kind of screen. Now look at this box now. Hardly any bees are hanging outside. Here's the screen I was talking about. Now I still have a small hole so robbers can't come, but the bees can get in and out. But just for now, for a couple of weeks here till it starts to cool off, I'm going to leave it like that. Meanwhile, the mason bees, something started laying in the mason bees, but I really think it was some kind of wasp because they kind of laid and then they hatched. So anyway, do you want to make pasta? Sure, why not? So Kim does a good job of this. Homemade fresh pasta is absolutely amazing. Now, if you watched our other videos, I'll put a link to the top. We had so many tomatoes in the spring. Kim made pasta sauce and we jarred it. So I have plenty of pasta sauce homemade. So here we go. We got some eggs. We got some flour on there. She's actually going to put, I think, 3 eggs. So I think it's 2 or 3 cups of sugar. A little flour, a little bit of salt on there, and some olive oil. And then we're going to mush it together. Like, I'm not going to mush it together. Kim's going to mush it together. After she kind of wisps the eggs so the yolks break. And then she's going to whisk this all together into a ball of gook. It's going to be pasta. But you cannot really do this by hand. Like, you can do this part where you're just getting it all kind of put together in a clump. But to make it pasta-y, it really needs to be kneaded for a long time. So we have an attachment to our blender that needs it. So here it is. We stuck it. Now you can see how that doesn't look very good. It all looks broken up and stuff like that. Give it a couple of minutes and then take a look now. Now it got kneaded for like 5 minutes or something like that. And this is going to be ready to turn into pasta. So first, Kim cuts it up, flattens it out by hand. Now I have another attachment on the mixer. This mixer is so cool. You can put all these attachments on it. The pasta attachment, and it flattens it so you can make a nice big flat sheet like that. That's the first kind of there's 4 little holes up on top, and then the next one is the pasta one. So as the pasta comes out, we catch it with a hanger. And then we're going to hang it. You can hang it to dry, or just to kind of so it sits up for a little while, so it's not just stuck on the table, right? So here comes the pasta out there. Stick the hanger underneath. Catch the pasta as it's coming down. And now your pasta is ready. Now we're going to cook this right away because fresh pasta, like the day you make it, the day you cook it, so incredibly good. So we're just going to put some of it. We're going to have so much. Some of it's going to be left over. We hang it like that. So the stuff we don't use, we can hang and let it dry and put it in a container. But right now, here it goes. We got the pot of boiling water going on. You can see this is just made fresh pastas going in the pot. Actually, it's a little sticky together, but that doesn't bother me. I kind of like it like that. I could have maybe done a better job of separating it when I put it on the hanger, but it's all right. So, you boil it like your regular pasta. It takes I take it back. It only takes like 2 or 3 minutes when it's fresh like that, as opposed to like 15 or 20 minutes when you buy like the store-bought hard stuff. This stuff is the texture is so different. You make some meatballs and you get out that sauce you made with all your homemade tomatoes, your homegrown peppers and all that, and you've got this dish you practically made yourself, except for the cow. I didn't make the cow for the meatballs. Throw some cheese on top. This is amazing. So get out there, try to make some pasta. Like I said, the rest of it, you just hang it up to dry. Cut your basil, have some fun, and we'll see you on the next episode of What the...